Hey guys. So welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, consider subscribing. It really helps me out a lot because I'm putting a lot of content when it comes to placements and helping students get their dream job offers. So this video is a continuation of the Guesstimate series, and today we'll be talking about the type 2 guesstimate, which is estimating the revenue of a typical establishment. And for this, let's take an example. Estimate the monthly revenue of a hair salon that is close to your home. Again, pause the video right now, try to solve the guesstimate and come up with an approach, and we'll cross-check our approaches. So yeah, pause the video right now. Okay, so hopefully you have an approach. The way that I can do this guesstimate is try and think about my actual local hair salon and go from over there. We'll skip the questions at this point and we will assume that it is a typical hair salon servicing both men and women and having all kinds of different treatments for hair, and that's it, just for your hair. Okay, so let's start with the approach and try and make it as messy as possible. There are a lot of different components to this guesstimate. The first is the number of hours that the particular hair salon is open. So you have to assume that number at the starting of your guesstimate. Let's say it opens up at 9 a.m. and it shuts doors at 9 p.m. So that's a 12-hour working window that you have. Let's also assume that it is closed one day in an entire week, and this is something that we're going to use later on. Now let's break down those 12 hours into constituent parts. These constituent parts are going to be based on traffic. And let's assume that the hair salon is the busiest in early morning as well as in the evenings. And all you have to do is assign these high volume as well as low volume hours to this entire 12-hour period. Let's say between 9 and 11, the volume is 100%. Let's say between 11 and 1, the volume is around 50%. Let's say between 1 and 4, it reduces even further to about 30%. And then between 4 and 7, the volume goes up to 100% again. And then between 7 and 9, it reduces to around 50%. Now this obviously is a pretty busy hair salon that we're talking about. And also we are currently ignoring the coronavirus pandemic. Of course, that angle can also be there in your guesstimate interview, in which case you will have to do some adjustments. Now, what do I mean by the 100% volume that we were talking about? Let's get into that. Now, let's say that in this hair salon, there are 5 seats for getting your hair cut. And there are 3 seats for specialized hair treatment like hair colors, hair extensions, and things like those. Now, we very generously assumed that for a few hours in a day, all of those seats will be booked. This might not be the case, but let's just assume it for now. In this case, all of those 8 seats are occupied for an average of 20 minutes each, which means that there are 8 customers coming in for 20 minutes each. And in an hour, it would be 8 times 3, which is 24 customers coming every hour within the 100% occupancy period. Now, these customers will be spending differently since the charge for the haircut will be different and the charge for those specialized treatments will be different. You can assign those values with the consent of your interviewer, and you can basically say, okay, so what I'm going to do is assign 300 rupees to a haircut, which would mean 5 times 300, which is 1500, and then multiply that by 3 for the entire hour, which would come up to 4500 for the entire hour for haircuts. And then let's say for those specialized treatments, it costs 1000 rupees per specialized treatment. And let's say it goes on for 20 minutes as well, which again may or may not be the case, but let's assume that it goes on for 20 minutes as well for simplicity purposes. And then 1000 times 3 is 3000 times 3 is 9000. So 9000 as well as 4500 is 13,500 when the hair salon is completely occupied. Now, since this was completely occupied between 9 and 11, we will multiply this by 2 to arrive at the total revenue between those 2 hours. Now let's come to between 11 and 1. We decided on a percentage early on that we will use between 11 and 1 and multiply that with the number of people that we had between 9 and 10, and then multiply that with the number of hours to come up with the total revenue between 11 and 1. Doing this, you'll be able to arrive at the revenue for the entire 12-hour period, which is the entire day in a particular hair salon, and then multiply that by 26, not 30, because remember we decided that 1 day every week was going to be off, which means 4 days a month, and hence you're going to multiply the total number by 26 to arrive at your average revenue. And that would be the end of this guesstimate. Hopefully you liked the approach, and hopefully you had a good enough approach as well. If you were able to take anything from this approach, make sure you inculcate it in your approach. So that was basically it. Hope you guys liked the type 2 guesstimate. If you have any feedback, make sure to put it down in the comments. If you want videos on a specific topic, also make sure to put it down in the comments. If you like the video, make sure you like it. And that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.